What's up guys, I'm finally back, and this time we're taking a look at Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman, and there's quite a lot I want to go over, so let's jump right into it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is Manny Pacquiao's ability to neutralize the lead hand of his orthodox opponents. Now there's many ways he likes to do this, but the big star of the show during this fight was his right hook over the top of the jab. So we see in this exchange, Thurman's going to look to control Pacquiao with the jab. Notice he sticks out the lead hand, and Pacquiao's going to try to dare him to throw that again so he can counter it. Notice him build a rhythm here, daring Thurman to throw that jab. That's what he's doing. And then once Thurman obliges, he shoots the jab, and Pacquiao counters over the top with the right hook. But how exactly does Pacquiao counter this jab? Well, look here how Pacquiao is trying to build a rhythm on Thurman, and when he's building a rhythm, that's when he's looking to counter you. Notice here very subtly how every time Pacquiao steps to the inside with his rear foot, notice how he also subtly slips his head over to the inside. He changes his head slots to the inside. This is so that he could preemptively slip Thurman's jab when it comes to the inside and counter with the right hook. And by moving in and to the inside, it makes his head a very enticing target for the jab. So by the time Thurman throws the jab, he's able to see it coming and then counter over the top with the right hook. But also notice how when Pacquiao steps forward, he's also front foot heavy, and this is to bait out the jab from Thurman. He's going to apply the pressure and then bait Thurman to throw out the jab at him. And you notice here, as soon as Manny Pacquiao sees Thurman commit to the jab, Pacquiao not only slips his head to the inside, but also transitions his weight from the front foot to his back foot to make Thurman overextend on the jab and give him a counterpunching opportunity. And notice how when after Pacquiao's counter right hook lands, he takes his lead foot to the outside of Keith Thurman's lead foot, and he circles out to the outside over to safety so that Keith Thurman can't possibly counter him back. You can see in this clip as well how Manny Pacquiao is actively trying to counter Keith Thurman's jab with his right hook. Notice how he slips over his head to the inside and is moving to his left. Pacquiao is moving to his left, slips his head to the inside preemptively to counter Keith Thurman's jab. Notice there he paws at his hand, is trying to get Keith Thurman to throw that jab. He leans in, he puts his hands up, and he feints at him right here. And we notice here Keith Thurman is looking for the left hook. So now Pacquiao is really trying to get that jab out. And here Keith Thurman feints the jab, and you notice there Pacquiao almost commits to the right hook. So you see there that he's not doing this by accident. He's really looking for that jab from Thurman so he could counter it with the hook. Let's watch how in this clip how Manny Pacquiao baits the jab so he could counter it with the right hook. Notice how he touched the lead hand of Keith Thurman, and Thurman touches Pacquiao's hand there, and Pacquiao is really just inviting Thurman to jab with him there. Notice how he touches the lead hand again, he touches it again, and is not even in range to really hit him. He's really just touching the glove. And then Pacquiao moves into punching range, and you notice there Thurman tries to touch the glove again, but then Pacquiao counters him over the top because he moved in the range. Now let's watch it again. See, they're outside of each other's punching range, and they're touching each other's gloves here. And then Pacquiao steps in and touches the glove, but is looking to really get Thurman to jab at him so that Pacquiao could counter over the top of the hook. And then here, Pacquiao is in range, and Thurman doesn't realize it. So when Thurman reaches out to touch Pacquiao's glove, Pacquiao is able to counter over the top with the right hook. Let's watch it one more time. So we notice here that Pacquiao touches the lead hand of Thurman to bait out a punch that he could counter. He's essentially inviting Thurman to punch with him so that he could counter it. You notice Thurman steps back, and then he's going to touch Pacquiao's lead hand here, out of range. And then notice how Pacquiao jabs at Thurman's lead hand again, but this time he is out of range. And what Pacquiao is doing is he's conditioning Thurman to think it is safe to touch the lead hand by jabbing Thurman's lead hand from multiple ranges. Notice how he's out of range at this point. And so Pacquiao touches the lead hand again, but he steps in and steps into the range, and Thurman doesn't realize that Pacquiao is already in punching range. So when Thurman reaches out to touch the lead hand again, Pacquiao counters him over the top because he's already in punching range. This is brilliant boxing from Pacquiao. And here once again, Pacquiao moving forward, building a rhythm off of his front foot, slipping to the inside, and then Keith Thurman's going to throw the jab, and Pacquiao slips to the inside and catches him with the right hook, and then has the presence of mind to circle out to his outside to avoid the right hand, following behind the jab from Thurman. Let's watch it again. Once again, Pacquiao, you see him building the rhythm, slipping his head to the inside. As soon as he sees Keith Thurman move, he slips to the inside and counters with the right hook. And here you see Thurman's looking to feint Pacquiao, and then Pacquiao's, you see he's ready with that right hook. You see the little gesture there. And Pacquiao moving to the inside angle, building that rhythm, looking for something to counter from Thurman. And just a few seconds there, you see Thurman feints again, while Pacquiao's moving to the inside, and Pacquiao counters this feint with the right hook because he's already in punching range. Look, there you see the feint from Thurman, and there you see the right hook counter from Pacquiao. Really brilliant. The right hook over top the jab isn't the only way Pacquiao counters the orthodox jab. Pacquiao also likes to slip to the outside and counter with a straight left hand, so he can either slip to the inside and counter with his right hook, or he can slip to the outside and counter with a straight left hand, and Pacquiao is one of the best at slipping the jab with his straight left hand. So you see here once again Pacquiao is building a rhythm, looking to counter something from Keith Thurman, and you see him slip to his inside, looking for the right hook. There he slips to the inside, there you see him slip to the outside preemptively so he could split Keith Thurman's jab. There you see him slip to the inside again, and then there Keith Thurman throws the jab and Pacquiao slips to the outside and tries to counter with a straight left. It misses, but it's a good attempt there. Then we see here again, he pulls it off perfectly. Once again, Pacquiao, you see him step back, building a rhythm, looking for something to counter from Keith Thurman, and then here he leans forward and then slips to the outside as soon as he sees the jab from Keith Thurman. Notice him duck under any possible counter. Very good defensive responsibility. It's very important that Pacquiao mixes up countering the jab with his straight left hand and his right hook, because Thurman actually catches on to this counter right hook from Pacquiao after getting hit with it a million times. You see here how Pacquiao is looking for that counter right hook. You see him feint it, and you see Thurman here is just testing Pacquiao, feinting with his lead hand, probing and pressuring forward, and that's the important thing. And there he's able to find a jab when Pacquiao is not ready. And you see here once he finds a time when Pacquiao is not ready for the right hook, he's able to pressure forward and land these little blitzes all the way onto the ropes, and this is something that Keith Thurman did very good during the fight. However, because Keith Thurman isn't as good at controlling the space with his lead hand as, say, Floyd Mayweather or Juan Manuel Marquez, he would still allow Pacquiao to get within countering range. So whenever Keith Thurman would flash his jab, Pacquiao would counter over the top with his right hook or counter with his straight left hand. Now, despite Thurman having a very large reach advantage, he was still getting countered every time he threw the jab, and Thurman began to lose confidence in using his jab, which was the single most important key to victory against Manny Pacquiao. This means that Pacquiao expertly neutralized Thurman's jab, and once Pacquiao noticed the jab was coming less, he was able to freely step into his punching range with combinations, and namely his signature 1-2-1 combination. Here you see 1-2-1, backs up Keith Thurman. Here you see again, once he throws the 1-2-1, backs up Keith Thurman. And you see it once again, 1-1-2-1, catches Keith Thurman, backs him up because the jab's not coming. And once again, 1-2-1, backs up Keith Thurman, and no counter comes. No jab coming, 1-2-1, that one hurts Keith Thurman, and then again the 2-1, ends the combination with his right hand. And then once again, 1-2-1. Notice Pacquiao ended each combination with his lead right hand. Something the Mayweathers teach is to end your combination with a jab or even a double jab, and this helps you reset yourself safely, as the jab essentially works as a shield in case your opponent tries to counter you. It also disrupts your opponent and reestablishes your distance, and Pacquiao shifts into his right hand, giving it much more power. As you can see, he drops Keith Thurman there. Let's watch it again. So you see there Pacquiao feints Thurman, notices no counter comes. He tests him with a jab, notice Thurman doesn't jab back. So now Pacquiao, he starts his combination out with a range-finding jab. Then he follows up with a straight left hand to the body to lower the guard of Keith Thurman. And And then we see Pacquiao finishes the combination with his lead right hand, but shifts into it using his forward momentum. And by switching to orthodox mid-combination, Pacquiao essentially turns the jab into a straight right hand. And shifting is especially effective when your opponent is backing up in a straight line, as you see Thurman is here. As you can see, this is the same combination he dropped Miguel Cotto with, 1-2-1 while shifting. And once again we take a look at Keith Thurman, 1-2-1, drops him with the right hand at the end. And once again to Miguel Cotto, he shoots the jab up to the top, lowers his guard with the straight left hand, and then drops him with the right hand that he doesn't see coming. Once again to Thurman, it's the same thing, jab, straight left hand to the body, and then right hand over the top. It's a very sneaky combination. And then once Keith Thurman completely abandons his jab, Manny Pacquiao is able to do what he does best, which is attack from all different kinds of angles and punching range. Notice here how he steps over to his left to open up an opening for his left hand, beautifully slides over to his right, and slips over back to his left, rolls under the hook, steps over to his right, is constantly turning Keith Thurman here. Notice how Keith Thurman can't get any punches off because he's constantly following Pacquiao, turning, and Pacquiao keeps giving him different angles. Notice there he turns over to his right, nails him with a couple combinations, and Thurman can't do anything. Very beautiful boxing from Pacquiao. This video is getting pretty long, so I'm just going to end it with some closing thoughts. Well, Keith Thurman, despite having the size and reach advantage, showed he isn't able to control the distance to keep Pacquiao off of him. A sharp, commanding jab to Pacquiao's glove or chest whenever he gets his rhythm going is essential to keeping him at bay, the way Floyd Mayweather did. Of course, this is much easier said than done, since Pacquiao is one of the hardest southpaws to establish a dominant jab on. Thurman did do a good job of investing in body shots early and pressuring Pacquiao to make him slow down in the middle rounds, and this is where Thurman took over the second half of the fight with activity and pressure, which I may talk about in another video. And that being said, this fight showed one of the best impressive displays of counterpunching I've ever seen from Manny Pacquiao, and even at the age of 40, he's still able to compete with the best in the world. As always, thank you everybody for watching. If you like my content and want to see more, please click the red button to subscribe. I'll see you guys all in the next one, and make sure you leave a like and a comment. And we also recently just hit 4,000 subscribers, which is great. So that means we're just 1,000 away from my goal of 5,000. If we could hit 5,000, then something special would come. So as always, thank you everybody for watching and your continued support, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.
It's like a vicious cycle. My life is a crisis. How was I supposed to know she would turn out like it did? Feels like I'm going cycle again, and I might just blow my bitch. And I almost missed it. I would have never made recovery kit. Cause I'm running in circles with